of independence, Jawaharlal Nehru adopted
కిసాన్ మోర్చా స్టేట్ జనరల్ సెక్రటరీ గారి పర్యటన నిమిత్తం 2-3 సార్లు
the
వచ్చి
socialistic approach as a most
అప్పుడు
suitable model.
చాలా రోజుల క్రితం
But all of us know what
Malcolm
had
X.
happened to socialism. And 4 days back, one
ఉమ్మడి
person
జిల్లా,
from very important
ఉమ్మడి
person
స్టేట్.
at the global level, he spoke like this. Exactly on
Oh.
20 January 2026, globalization has failed. The Trump administration and I are here to make a very clear point. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. You know, they are the advocates of globalization. They were compelling the other nations to follow this. So they themselves are saying it has failed America. It's a failed policy and it has left America behind. You know who said this? The Secretary of Commerce, United States of America, by name Lutnick. And he said that at the global
బీజేపీగా
World Economic Forum at Davos.
కిసాన్ మోర్చాకి
So now
సుబ్రహ్మణ్యం
the
అనుకుంటారు.
ideologies have failed. The
స్టేటులో సుబ్రహ్మణ్యం ఉండేవారు
Najesh
గుర్తులేదు. State President Shankesh.
So it is here that we have to revisit
నేను జనరల్ సెక్రటరీ రాష్ట్రానికి.
We all know that India
శ్యామ్ కిషోర్ తర్వాత ఇది పూర్తి తిరుపతిరావు గారు.
we are a civilization.
ఈయన మన ఎదురుకుండా
Thousands of years
కళ్ళ
of
సర్టి.
economic history.
ఆయన తర్వాత
We
సూర్యనారాయణ
know the details of studies that are being conducted at the global level today.
సూర్యనారాయణ తర్వాత
You know, Angus
కుమారస్వామి
Madison, about
ఇప్పుడు
20
ప్రజెంట్.
years back, his team studied the rise and fall of different countries in the world and came up with a brilliant what called World Economic History, a millennial perspective, in which the main point was Bharat was the most superpower 2026 years back during the beginning of the common era. So India was contributing 32.9% to the global GDP. China was behind us with a contribution of 26.2%. So we were the top two nations in terms of economic power. And this position as an economic power continued at least for about 18 centuries, following centuries. Both these countries remaining as the superpowers. So we were a very powerful nation. Why? Decentralization of the key. So it was decentralized economy. We had small firms, sole proprietorship, family-owned organizations. We have partnership firms. We had even companies, corporate form of organizations called Srini. You know, India, Bharat was the birthplace of Srini form of organization 2,400 years back. So we had different types of organizations, but decentralization was the key. You know why both communism and Western capitalism was failed? Because both emphasize centralization. Communism through state, centralization through states. Western capitalism through markets, centralization through markets. So they advocated everything you come from the market. Both centralized approaches, but here in the Indian tradition, we always followed this decentralized approach. That is the reason why we remained as a global power for several centuries together. But unfortunately, the entry of British changed everything. Now, the latest study by Oxfam says that in India, in a period of just 135 years, between 1765 and 1900, $64.8 trillion worth of wealth was taken out of our country. 64.8 trillion. 1 trillion will be equal to 90 lakh crores. So you multiply. So much of wealth was taken out of India as a result of which we were made a poor nation. So at the time of independence, in fact even before independence, we became a very poor country. We were a very poor country. So our contribution to the global GDP was just 4% in 1950. So from 1950-51, now 2026, you know, more than 75 years, we have traveled more than 7 decades. What happened in the previous 7 decades is very important for us to understand the development of India's journey. You know, for about 30+ years, Nehru government adopted the socialistic approach that was followed during the subsequent periods also, we all know the growth rate was only 3.5%. Unfortunately, the leftist blended on our